Tonight, third graders in Jacksonville accessing porn on classroom computers. Plus, how some junior high students in Beebe are trying to prevent hot car deaths for children. And a road to a better community, protecting the homeless from the elements. We'll tell you how Lehman Library is using your old plastic shopping bags. Your news starts now.
This is THV11 News at 5.
Porn in school. An alleged loophole in a school's firewall allowed children the opportunity to watch it in the classroom.
THV11's Winnie Wright spoke with angry parents and tells us what the school says went wrong.
8-year-old kids exposed to porn in the classroom. Jacksonville parents are furious, not only that their kids were exposed, but also that the school district didn't tell them. The district says the situation was handled according to standard.
The school is not the appropriate place for children to be exposed to that type of material, let alone children in the 3rd grade.
Justin and Nikki Woodall say their 8-year-old daughter was exposed to porn in her classroom at Tolleson Elementary. They were made aware of the situation, they say, weeks later and by a concerned staff member.
They knew about it right away, and they chose immediately not to notify us.
What was supposed to be research for a Black History Month project quickly became a lesson in human anatomy.
And we're talking about XXX blush-worthy kind of material that children should never be exposed to at that age.
Jacksonville North Pulaski School District says the students found a loophole on Google Chrome in their Chrome books. In a statement, Superintendent Tony Woods says, quote, 2 male students accessed the pornography and another was an onlooker. He says the boys' parents were notified, they were disciplined appropriately, and, quote, no female students were involved. After they learned what happened, the Woodalls say they asked their daughter if she saw the boys' laptops.
What she thinks she saw and what she actually saw are 2 different things. She thinks that she saw 2 men hugging. That's not what she saw.
The school district says the state's Department of Information Systems has been made aware and is looking into it. Tonight at 6, what the Woodalls say they plan to do next.
All right, Winnie, well, snow is expected to blanket much of the Northeast just days before the official start of spring. Blizzard warnings are being issued.
New York, Boston, and Philadelphia could see a foot of snow. Thousands of flights have been canceled. Meteorologist Mariel Ruiz will have more on the storm coming up in about 15 minutes.
While parts of Arkansas did see some winter weather over the weekend, it didn't last too long.
Our chief meteorologist Ed Buckner joins us with what's ahead for us this week. Hey, Ed.
What you're right, we have seen the cool down the last week of winter here. Winter's going to hang on for every last breath. We're going to see the next 3 mornings to be close to freezing for overnight lows. So we are not done just yet. Here's a look at what's going on from above, and we still have mostly cloudy skies. Cold air continues to filter on in with that low pressure to the east and high pressure to the north. Marielle is going to explain a little bit more about why that big nor'easter is affecting us coming up. But look at these temperatures, 31 in Harrison, 32 in Mountain Home, and you can hear the wind as well. 53 currently in Little Rock. A freeze warning in effect for the counties in pink. North Arkansas, freeze warning. Freezing temperatures are imminent, and that is in effect tonight at 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow. The freeze watch there in blue is in effect Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, meaning any tender vegetation, anything that's already beginning to sprout or bud could be killed if you can't protect it. Hour by hour, we will see temperatures fall down into the middle to lower 30s again tonight. I'm going 34 with a high tomorrow of only 50. So actually the colder air begins to arrive, filter through the state tomorrow and into tomorrow night and into Wednesday as well. We'll talk more about that cool down and when it might warm up coming up.
That cold weather up north delays a national technology competition. 2 Beebe Junior High students and their teacher are among the top 10 finalists. Their idea could save babies on hot summer days. And THV11's Erica Ferrando is here now with more.
According to studies in the U.S., an average of 37 babies a year die from being left in hot cars. But 2 junior high students may have a solution, and it's catching national attention, making it to the finals in the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition.
A potentially life-saving tool.
It's surprising that something this simple hadn't been
patented and made yet.
A simple idea to set off a car alarm when a child has been left in a hot car.
If we can build this prototype and prevent babies from dying in hot cars, I mean, that's a really big step.
Two 8th graders, Mason Covington and Tyler Duke, came up with the idea with engineering and robotics teacher Tate Rector.
It was just a problem in our community because 2 years ago, a baby died in Arkansas, and that really hit home for us.
That's why they were encouraged to come up with a device you could attach to any car seat. It detects heat in a car while a child is inside and sets off an alarm if it gets too hot.
When it hits over 80 degrees inside the car, it sets off the car alarm.
A pressure plate automatically turns it on with just a little weight.
Doesn't take hardly any. You can do it with one finger.
When they found out they earned the spot as one of the national finalists.
We're going to New York!
They earned a trip to New York, $50,000 in Samsung technology, but also the recognition of inventing a tool that could save lives. Currently, they have a patent in the works and hope a major car company will invest in the technology. The competition in New York has been postponed until after spring break.
Erica, thank you. Arkansas now has all the drugs needed to proceed with 8 executions. Arkansas uses 3 drugs in its execution protocol, but its supply of potassium chloride expired in January. Arkansas Department of Correction now has enough potassium chloride to conduct 8 executions. Those executions are set to take place over a 10-day period in April. The state hasn't executed an inmate since 2005.
President Trump is working to ensure the GOP plan to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act stays on track. Today, the president met with Americans who say President Obama's plan failed them. This is ahead of a report from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office on how much it will cost and how many people will be covered. Some lawmakers who don't like the tax credits designed to help pay for insurance will meet with White House officials tomorrow. And today is the last day to vote early on a possible millage increase for the Bryant School District. Tomorrow is the special election to decide whether Bryant should add 3.6 mills to their current tax rate. If approved, the money would fund the construction of 2 new elementary schools and a junior high. A fine arts building and a new high school cafeteria are also in the plans, and a salary plan to recruit and retain teachers.
Welcome to the Ferris Center on the campus of UCA in Conway. It's quiet in here right now, but about in an hour, we're going to find out where the UCA Sugar Bears are heading in the NCAA tournament. But first, we have to start with news out of Jonesboro. Breaking news, in fact, Grant McCaslin, A-State's head men's basketball coach, he is leaving after just 1 season with the Red Wolves. He has accepted the head coaching position at North Texas. McCaslin, as I said, just 1 season with them. He went 20-12, but of course dropped that opening round Sun Belt game in the tournament against Louisiana Monroe. North Texas expected to pay his buyout of $500,000 to A-State. That payment should be in within 20 days. And in Northwest Arkansas, the Razorbacks returning home from Nashville following the SEC tournament. We already know their postseason fate. The 8th-seeded Hogs will battle 9th-seeded Seton Hall on Friday in Greenville, South Carolina.
So they got to be a dang good team, and you know, I know they're going to have big-time players.
We're not just going to the dance. We're going to dance, and we ain't going to do a 1-step or 2-step. They are dynamite. They were in the tournament last year, so it's a team that great guard play.
So we got the Hogs heading to South Carolina on Friday. It's going to be a great game. We don't know where UCA is going next, but always good to see 2 Arkansas teams dancing in the postseason. We will keep you updated here from Conway a little bit later tonight at 6. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Hayden. Well, there soon could be a civil rights museum in Northeast Arkansas. On June 25th of 1955, the Hoxie School Board voted unanimously to integrate the school district. The vote came 1 year after the Brown versus Board of Education decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, the city wants to highlight the precedent Hoxie set for the rest of the country.
People can see what it was like when they walk in. They can see what it was like to be in that integration. We want a 360 degree, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we say.
The plans are to replicate the African-American school in Hoxie back then. It's expected to cost a lot of money, but Representative Kavanaugh says the nonprofit Hoxie the First Stand, the city and school are working to get grants and private funding for the museum.
If you experienced a power outage in North Little Rock last night, birds are to blame. North Little Rock Electric says about 11,000 of their customers lost power and more than 1,000 Energy Arkansas customers lost power. Julie Munsell with Entergy says animals causing outages are more common than you might think.
It's much more frequent than we'd like and very frustrating when it occurs. Oftentimes it occurs when the weather gets warmer and the animals are out and about.
She says it can be snakes, birds, or even squirrels. Entergy does use animal mitigation devices and substations on lines, but the devices are dependent on the type of animals you're trying to keep out.
Rain chances will continue to linger this week. Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner has the details coming up.
And plus, a road to a better community, protecting the homeless from the elements. Jamal Goss tells us how Lehman Library is using your old plastic shopping bags. Coming up.
Now, weather from the Crane Kia Weather Garden.
It's funny, we're out here admiring the flowers that were recently planted in the garden, saying it looks like Easter, but it feels like winter.
It does.
It's funny how Mother Nature does that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Keep us on our toes.
There they
There's
are.
a pretty shot. Thanks,
Yay,
guys.
we got the shot. Michael Bennett.
Yeah, it's certainly looks like Easter, but feels like winter still, as winter has technically another week left in it. So I guess, you know, we probably shouldn't complain. We've had a very mild winter so far.
If any.
Yeah, really.
Kind of.
This is the coldest air we've seen since early January, actually, so it's been a while. And all the plants and trees are obviously confused. Here's a look at temperatures as we head into the overnight hours. These are lows in the morning. 7 a.m. will be close to freezing here. I'm still thinking our low will be around 34. But the really cold air begins to come in tomorrow. And tomorrow night, I think, will be even a little bit colder than this. But you can see up to the north where the freeze warning is in effect. Lows tonight in the 20s, so very cold air in place. This wind is also pretty brisk and making it feel even colder as the cold air filters on in. 49 for a high tomorrow. These are highs tomorrow, not current readings, but just to show you how the cold air settles in, Benton may not get to 50. Pine Bluff only 50. Monticello only 50 as well. Today I got had the opportunity to go talk to the homeschool co-op called Classical Conversations. We met the Bible Church of Little Rock there, Little Rock Bible Church out on Cantrell, Highway 10, and talked to about 50, 60 students out there about severe weather and what I do as a meteorologist. Had a wonderful time. There you see again the kids of all ages, from young to old. Well, not old. Those aren't old. These are not old people. These are not old kids. These are the parents. But anyway, had a great time. Thank you, Carrie Tittle, for setting that up, and had a good time there with Classical Conversations Homeschool Co-op. Satellite still showing cloudy skies, the cold air filtering down behind this pretty intense area of low pressure. There's also a pretty strong low off toward the northeast, which Marielle's going to focus on in a moment, but it all kind of contributes to why we're seeing this big cool down, at least a prolonged cool down. Normally this time of the year you get a cold spell, but it doesn't last much more than a day or two. This one will be the next several days. 32 this morning was the low, so we saw yet another freezing night. 56 the afternoon high, and picked up just almost a quarter of an inch of rain earlier this morning. It's 53 as the front moved through. 53, the dew point's low, the wind obviously strong as that cold air settles on in, west-northwest at 15 miles an hour. 50s to the south, but only 31 in Harrison and only 32 in Mountain Home. So there's the cold air, and it will take just a little bit more time to filter on down through the state southward. That's because the high pressure will actually sink a little farther to the south tomorrow. That cold air funnels on in, and that's really helping to bring in the cold air. And we will stay pretty much cloudy, I think, on Tuesday as well. So overnight, we'll see a low of 34 degrees, a high tomorrow of 50 with cloudy and cold conditions. Again, feeling like winter, folks. The normal high should be in the 60s, and you see cold mornings all the way through Thursday before we get a little milder by Friday. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Road to a Better Community, brought to you by MNB.
Well, if you're thinking of throwing away your plastic shopping bags, think again. Lehman Library is taking up a different type of donation.
Plastic shopping bags. And THV11's Jamal Goss joins us now to explain what they plan to do with them. Jamal?
With the donated plastic bags, staff at the library are looking to make mats for the homeless as an added protection from the ground. It's a part of a community service project that will help a few people in need.
We definitely want to make as many as possible, but that takes more bags.
Executive Director Crystal Gates.
Okay.
hoping to get people out this weekend to an event that will teach them how to turn something we take for granted into something of value for the homeless.
We want to offer programs that get the community involved and get them into social engagement.
Gates wants to get people helping one another throughout the community.
Try to keep these the same size.
And that help comes from a lot of people donating a lot of bags.
That's all it takes. It's just one action to impact your community. That's what libraries do.
A 2016 study by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development discovered close to 2,400 people are homeless in Arkansas, and more than 800 of those people are living unsheltered. Now she and her staff looking to make a difference.
They're pretty plush.
With help from plastic shopping bags.
Even if all you do is bring bags and you don't come to the event and you don't learn how to make the plarn and you don't learn how to actually loop it together to make a mat, you've still impacted and made a difference here just by bringing bags.
You can start dropping off those plastic shopping bags right now at the library. It doesn't matter the size or color. And then this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. you can help them with cutting and sorting all the bags that were donated. So it should be a lot of fun, ladies.
This is a great way to actually use those bags for something. They end up in my drawers. I may reuse them as much as I can, but truly making a difference.
I know, I was thinking I use them as like mini trash bags and for like my bathroom and stuff, but this is something that you can use when you probably have a lot of them just laying around for something actually worthwhile and a good cause.
Yeah, right now they have about 500 bags and they need a lot more because 500 bags only make one mat. And they're looking to make, at least 12 to 15 mats. So we need a lot of bags out there.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Jamal, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, coming up, the National Weather Service issues a blizzard warning for the Northeast. We have the latest on what's expected to fall in some areas.
Plus, the latest on how this storm is affecting flights across the nation and here in Little Rock. More coming up.
Well, the National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning for the Northeast.
Well, this massive late season storm is expected to bring heavy snow with strong winds from Washington to parts of Maine. Meteorologist Mario Ruiz joining us with more on how this storm is affecting us all.
Right, and parts of the United States expected to be affected, already getting ready for the storm today. New York City sanitation crews prepared for the pending storm this morning. The city says it has nearly 300,000 tons of rock salt available. All season long, the city picked up 22 inches of snow. It's possible that could double tomorrow. In the suburbs of the city, homeowners are stocking up on groceries and snow supplies. New York State could see between 1 and 2 feet of snow. One of the storm systems heading east blanketed much of the Midwest with snow yesterday into today. In Iowa, the weather forced several cars off of the road, a similar scene in Minnesota.
Very slippery, whiteout conditions, visibility is pretty much non-existent.
And the South definitely has not been spared from this late winter storm. Snow fell in the Carolinas and Tennessee. Two systems are going to combine off the coast to bring more than a foot of snow from Washington, D.C. to Maine. Blizzard warnings are already in effect. Meanwhile, thousands of flights are being canceled due to this storm. U.S. airlines have canceled about 4,000 flights today and tomorrow. Tracking service FlightAware.com said that more than 1,100 flights have been canceled today and more than 2,800 canceled already for tomorrow. Chicago is bearing the largest share of today's cancellations. Tuesday's disruptions are hitting hardest from Washington to Boston, including the New York City area. Here in Little Rock, only 3 flights to Chicago have been canceled. And New York City could get up to 18 inches of snow. Boston seeing a similar amount. Philadelphia slated to get up to a foot of snow, and up to 10 inches could fall in Washington, D.C. Top snowfalls in D.C. include in the year 1900 when 10 inches of snow fell on March 15th and March 16th. 10.7 inches fell on March 7th and 8th in 1941. 11.5 inches on March 28th and 29th in 1942. And 12 inches back in 1981. This massive system off of the coast it actually impacts areas of Arkansas as well. So coming up on THV11 at 6, I'm talking a little bit more how a coastal storm is impacting weather here a little bit closer to home. Back to you guys.
All right, Muriel, thank you. Parts of Arkansas saw some snow over the weekend.
And our chief, Ed Buckner, tells us what's ahead for this week with a final check of your forecast after the break.
We are back talking about this weather and how crazy it is. And we got so used to the 80 degrees
I
last
miss
week.
it. I'm sad.
Come
back.
It's only it was just here a couple days ago.
I know.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what
Separation
you're saying.
anxiety, something like that.
and like I mentioned a minute ago, it's unusual that this is going to hang around for a few days. This time of the year, it doesn't last usually this long, but 34 tonight, 32 on Wednesday morning, and close to that again on Thursday morning, and then Friday we begin to warm up.
All right, we'll wait for you Friday.
Yes, we sure will. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you after the CBS Evening News tonight.
Bye.
Thanks for watching THV 11 News. Stay connected to the THV Information Center 24/7 on your mobile device and with the THV 11 app for your iPad.